share your dreams with your classmates? Because can you imagine if I were with you in college and you say, hey, I want to like fly into outer space. Did you have a desire that you share that with your classmates? Or again, going back to from the idea to the completion, what are some steps you might have taken so that students can think about that?
Sure. Well, when I was in college, I just thought about the things that might most affect the future of the world. And there were actually five things, three of which I was confident would be positive, and two of which I thought could have a mixed outcome, or a question, uncertain outcome. And the three that I thought would definitely be good were sort of space travel, particularly making life multiplanetary, sustainable energy, and the internet. And then there's writing genetics, reading, writing genetics, and artificial intelligence, which are, more of a thorny issue. So I didn't think at the time that I would be involved in all three, but those are just what I thought would most affect the future. At first, I didn't. It's not as though I expected to start a company. I actually just applied for a job at Netscape, which was the only internet company in '95. And then that sent my resume, I didn't hear anything, and I tried to hang out in the lobby.
That's a big job, did.
Yeah, but I was too shy to talk to anyone, so that didn't work. So then I just started writing some internet software, and then my brother came down and joined me, and we created a company. But we still had virtually no money, so we had $3,000, and so we could afford to rent this really crummy office, which was cheaper than an apartment. So we just slept on a couch in the office, and then showered the YMCA.
One more question, and I'm going to open it up to the students and some of the volunteers. So I was talking to Andy Bell, as the CEO of the shelter, and he talked about how the solutions that we want to find for any problem isn't just about resources, it's about relationships. So for you, the guy named Harry Rose.
Yeah, right. You really know a lot of details.
I've read a lot.
By Harold Rosen, yeah.
So Harold Rosen was one of the guys that was instrumental in helping Elon with Tesla and SpaceX. Is that accurate?
Not so much with SpaceX, but more with Tesla. In 2003, about a year after SpaceX was started. So SpaceX was the reason he called me, but then he wasn't all that helpful with SpaceX, but he was certainly helpful in getting Tesla going. And he brought J.B. Straubel, who was ended up being one of the co-founders of Tesla, to the lunch, and they were trying to do like a hydrogen airplane or something, which it sounds cool, but I don't think it's very practical. But then they also mentioned electric cars, because Harold had done an electric car company called Rosen Motors that didn't ultimately succeed, but both JB and Harold were really interested in electric cars. And I mentioned that I was going to be doing my grad studies on ultracapacitors for use in electric cars, and then they said that I should get a test drive in a prototype for AC propulsion of electric. It was an electric conversion of a kit gasoline sports car, and that really made it clear that you create a long-range, fast electric car, and so we created Tesla as a result.
So my question is for the students: they have a dream, they have to find people like a Harold. How did you actually meet Harold? Was it like friend or friend, or how did that?
I'm not entirely certain. I think he heard about SpaceX, and they gave me a call and suggested having lunch.
Okay.
It's just out of the blue.
Does that happen a lot? Like people from out of the blue say, "Hey, Elon, I want to help you," or?
It does these days. It didn't happen in the beginning.
So what would you suggest for people that aren't in a more established position as you, but how do you find those business contacts or people that can develop those relationships to help you?
Well, I think it's worth like going to if you go to places where such people are likely to be. and then just try sort of cold calling people out of the blue. Then I got a couple of summer jobs that way.